Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I'm back with a new video. In today's video we are going to see how to run a Docker container on an EC2 instance. In our previous video we saw how to provision an EC2 instance, edit the security group so that we have the access to the EC2 instance on SSH and also on the browser. So for this particular video we assume that you already have an EC2 instance that have the security group set up already for us to be able to access our instance on the browser. If you haven't watched that video and you don't know how to set up the security group, ensure to watch from the link above. Alright, so right here I've already accessed the AWS account and I'm in the EC2 instance dashboard. This is the list of the instances that I have. So what we are going to do, we just need to go directly to our instance. This is the training instance that we have created in our previous video. We saw how to connect to our EC2 instance on SSH, so let's click on that. Then all you need is to click on this connect button and it's supposed to bring you to this section. Alright, so the first thing, we made an update to the package repository for our instance. So if you haven't done it yet, ensure to do sudo apt update to update the application repository. Alright, so I'm not going to do that in this video. All I need to do for now is to install Docker, then put an image and run it so that we see how we can access that on the browser. Right, so what we need to, we have sudo apt install, we have docker.io. Alright, let's confirm. Alright, within a few seconds Docker has been installed. So what we need to do, we need to check on the status. Alright, so we see that Docker is active, is in the active state and it's running. Right, so what we need to do, we can try and check if we have some running containers. So we have docker ps. Alright, so what we need to do, we need to have sudo docker ps. Right, and we see we don't have any active container, so we can check docker images. Alright, we don't have any. So what we need to do is that we need to run a container. We have that port 8000. Let us map it on port. So we want to have a Docker command that will both pull an image if it doesn't exist and run the container on the port that we are going to specify. So let's have that. Then we can provision the name of the container. The container that I want us to use is Danny Wangari /d technologies 2.0. So the assumption of this tutorial is that you have worked with some common Docker commands, so you are able to appreciate what we have here. We are not going to go deep into explaining all these commands because this is a simple command that it's a basic command that you run when you are training on Docker images. Right, so this command is meant to pull and run that image and run it on port 8000. Right, so what we need to do, let us press on enter. So it pulls the image if it's not available locally. Alright, Right, after a few seconds we see that it has successfully been pulled and it's already running on this address. Right, so let's try to connect to that. This is our public IP address, so let's paste that, port 8000. Alright, so remember in our previous video what we had done, we only exposed port 80, so we need to go back and also ensure that we expose port 8000. Right, so what we need to do, let's go back to EC2 dashboard, then the security group. We have this is the security group that we are using for our instance. So for the inbound rules, let us click on edit inbound rules. So in here we need to add a new one. It should be custom TCP, and port we need to expose port 8000. Then from the source we need to allow this from anywhere. Once we do that, let's click on save rules. Then let's come back here, then let's reload. Alright, and there we go. We have been able to pull an image. This is a website that I was using previously. I created an image of it and pushed it on the Docker repository. So this is what I have pulled, and this is what we have at the moment. So you may want to leave this container in a running state, because immediately you exit from this terminal, this website will no longer be accessible. So what you need to do, just stop that service from running. If you access it, you'll realize that it will be lost. Right, so what you need to do in this command, you need to add that, you need to add a flag, then D, then just press enter. Alright, so that has started our container in the background. So if you try to check sudo docker ps, and this is what we have. It's up and running. Status up 12 seconds. So it is what we just started here some seconds ago. So if you try accessing it back, then you realize that it's accessible. So that's the way to do it. So you may want to stop that container. So let's do that. Sudo docker stop. Then let's use the ID of the container. We have 52. We have 52B. And there we go. The container has stopped. If we check on Docker PS, the container is no longer in the running state. If we reload, it's not accessible. Alright, so we can, if we want to check both the containers in the running state and those that have been stopped, you can have an A tag. These are the containers that we have. So if you want to start any of these, then let's have docker start 52B. Let us start that container. Alright, started. Let's check again, and there we go. We have our container up and running. So that's simply how to provision a Docker container in an EC2 instance. Once done with the deployment, if at all this was for testing and learning purposes, it's always a good idea to terminate our instance. This is because if we do not terminate our instance, we will be charged by AWS. So just navigate back to the instance section, the instance dashboard. We have it here. Since we are done with what we wanted to see, what we wanted to achieve, we do not need to leave our instance active. Otherwise, we will incur some charges. So just press on this drop down and terminate instance. There is a disclaimer that is given. Just click on terminate. So our instance is already shutting down. So the next thing that we need to check, we also need to check if we have a security group. This is a security group that we created. Well, you may not be charged for leaving a security group active, but just to do a cleanup, just select that, actions, delete security groups, then right, you see. Okay, it's probably because the instance is currently terminating. Let me check. Alright, it has been terminated. So back to the EC2 dashboard, security group. Let me try to delete it again. Alright, so we can now delete that security group. So this is the default that needs not to be deleted. Just refresh to check. Alright, so what remains is the default security group. And that marks the end of our video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also give this video a like, and also drop a comment in the comment section below.